Hi all, welcome to Anjan GCP Data Engineering. So in this video we will see concept of Google Cloud Platform Service accounts and roles with a few examples and subsequent demos. So in the first part we will see the concept of service account, okay, and then we'll move on to the Google Cloud Platform IAM roles and permissions, okay. So service account is a special kind of Google account used by an application or compute workload, okay, instead of a person or group, okay. So person can be a human or group can be a group of humans, but whereas service account is a robot identity. So you will grant necessary IAM permission to the service account, and this account can access required Google Cloud Platform resources to accomplish a given task, okay. This is the safest way to connect Google Cloud APIs and access Google Cloud resources by granting necessary IAM rules, okay, and permission. Usually service account is defined by an email address. It looks like email address which is unique in nature, okay. So we will see the types of service accounts. So on high level we have two types of service accounts, okay. The first one is user managed service accounts. So in this case, as a Google Cloud Platform user, we can create service accounts based on our requirement, and we can grant required IAM roles and permission to that service account to access Google Cloud Platform resources and accomplish a given task, okay. And by default, whenever you create a Google Cloud Platform project and enable App Engine API and Complete Engine API, there are two service account would be created, but by default the first one is default Complete Engine service account. So the name is look like this. So it starts with the project number hyphen and the compute, and you have this email address format. You can see developer.theserviceaccount.com, okay. And in the similar manner for App Engine, you have one more service account by default created by Google Cloud Platform. It look like this project, and the remaining name look like this. These are the two default service account created by Google Cloud Platform, and it should be managed by users, right? And by default these service account are granted with the editor role, okay. We will also discuss in detail about the roles and permission in the next section, okay. In the similar way, the user, if you have a requirement to perform certain tasks using service account, you can create new service account and you can grant necessary IAM permission to that service account, okay. We will see that in example in the demo section, okay. The next type of service account is Google managed service account. In the similar way, how user creates and manages service account, Google Cloud also creates and manages few service account, okay. So the example for this is this service account. If you go to your Google Cloud Platform and search for this service account with this format, okay, project number at the rate cloud services, okay, .gserviceaccount.com, you would see a service account, okay. This would be used to run your internal Google processes behalf of user, okay. And as a user, you will not be managing the service account. Instead, Google Cloud will manage the service account, okay. So please make sure you are not changing any IAM permission or deleting this service account, okay. So I hope this is clear now, okay. Now we'll move on to the roles and permissions, okay. Before we understand the roles, we'll try to understand the permission. So permission is a lowest granular access policy, okay, to access a Google Cloud resource. Example for this is an individual permission to run your BigQuery jobs, okay. In most of the situations or scenarios, it would not enough to have only individual permission to accomplish certain task. In such case, you will have to group related IAM permission to accomplish that task, okay. So we call that group of permission as a role, okay. So example for role is this. So if you see BigQuery job user role, this has this related permissions grouped together, okay. We can group these permissions and grant this role to a given service account or a individual user or a group, okay. Now coming to the types of roles, there are three types of role. The first type is primitive roles, very basic roles, and first one is viewer role. You can view any resource and its related information, okay. The editor role is a viewer role plus additional permissions. In the same way, Owner role is a editor plus additional permissions. Okay, to know more about these primitive roles and other roles, okay, I would strongly recommend you to go to the official documentation and so that it will give you a end-to-end understanding about the roles and permissions and custom roles and the other roles types. Okay, so the next one, an important role type is predefined roles, and this is very important. Mostly would use these type of roles in your project use cases and implementations. Okay, this is basically gives us a granular access to specific GCP resources. Okay, so Google Cloud has created these roles for us, okay, and made available readily. So each role will have a related permissions tied together to access specific Google Cloud resources to accomplish specific task. Okay, I hope it is clear. In the similar manner, we have a third role type, that is custom role. For example, let's say if we have to access multiple resources and by using predefined roles you are not able to access those resources and accomplish your task. In such case, you can create a custom role where you can group multiple permissions to accomplish this given task, and you can create a custom role. Okay, we will s- we will we will see all this in a demo in detail. Okay, I hope this is clear now. It gave you good understanding about service accounts and roles and permissions. Let's move on to the demo. Okay, now as we discussed earlier, now I will try to create a project and let's see what are the different service accounts Google Cloud platform is creating for us by default. Okay, so now I'm creating a project. So okay, so that's it. Now create. Okay, now go back to our project. Just select your project. Okay, now go to IAM roles. Okay, now you could see there are no default service account which it has created. Okay, now let's try to enable our compute engine APIs and services, and enable API and services. Okay, so here you can see compute engine API. Just enable it. In a similar way, we'll enable app engine API. So just enable this. If you go to IAM once again, okay, when you enable both the APIs, App Engine and Compute Engine API, so now you would see a default service account has been created for Compute Engine, but we don't see App Engine. Maybe we'll have to create an App Engine, then only you would see App Engine service account by default created by Google Cloud Platform. Okay, so now you can see there is a by default editor role has been granted, okay, to this service account. Okay, so as a user we'll have to manage the service account. Okay, in the similar way, plus Google also creates few service account and manages those service account. To see all those details, you will have to come over here you can see a checkbox that is include Google provider role and grants. Just click on this checkbox so that you would see all these Google managed service accounts. So this is very important service account which is used by Google Cloud Platform to run our Google internal processes behalf of us, right? Okay, and it also has been granted with editor role. You should not, okay, delete the service account or try to update these permissions granted to this service account. Okay, and along with that you can see other Google managed service account. So like that you would see there are many service account which would be created by Google Cloud Platform whenever you create other resources like Cloud Data Fusion and other resources. Okay, you can observe that whenever you try to create those Google Cloud Platform resources. Okay, I hope this is clear now. Now know this concept of service account and roles and permissions. Okay, we will create a new service account. Okay, and also we will create a compute engine. Okay, and we will associate that service account with that compute engine. Okay, so then programmatically by using Python workloads or Python application, we'll try to access Google Cloud resources like BigQuery and Google Cloud storage. Okay, so for that what we will do, we will try to create a service account first. Okay, So I will use CLI commands to create that service account. Okay, so for that I'll have to use Cloud Shell environment. Okay, let me open that Cloud Shell environment. So we are going to create this service account called demo-1. Okay, and we do have a display name called like this. Okay, and you can also create the service account using Google Cloud Console. Okay, so I will show you how to do that. Okay, you can come over here, IAM admin, and here you can click on service account, create service account. Okay, here you can give service account name and ID, and you can click on continue. And while you are creating your service account, you can also grant necessary IAM permission to that service account. But here in this demo, I am using CLI commands to create that service account. Okay, so let me create this service account. Just authorize. Now this service account has been created. Okay, to verify whether it has been created or not, go to the IAM section and here click on service account. Just refresh along with your default compute engine service account. Now you can see this new service account which we have created just now. Now this service account doesn't have any IAM roles and permissions granted. Okay, if you just click on this service account and it will take you to the details page of that service account. Okay, so click on permissions. Now you can see that service account which we have created doesn't have any IAM permissions. Okay, now we'll have to grant required IAM permission based on our requirement and use cases. Okay, so let it be. Now we'll go to the compute engine section and we'll create a compute engine. So go to the compute engine. Now create any instance, compute engine instance. Name it to instance demo. So select your nearest region. Okay, let it be. Now here I can select the small one. Okay, just, and important one is identity and API access. Here actually by default, if you don't specify any service account, it is using compute engine default service account which has the editor role. But I want this compute engine to use our newly created service account. Now you can see that newly created service account is available over here in this drop down. You will have to select that service account. Okay, let it be. Just click on create so that it will create an instance. Now once this instance is created, we'll SSH into that instance and then we'll try to install all Python dependencies which would be required for this demo. Okay, now this instance has been created. Okay, so as a user, because you are the owner of this project, you can access any Google Cloud Platform resources. But coming to this instance, right, instance has to access any other Google Cloud services like BigQuery or Google Cloud Storage, right? So it has to access those resources via that service account which we have created. Okay, now we have to grant the required IAM permissions and roles to that service account. Okay, now we are going to connect our VM using SSH. Okay, now we are into our virtual machine that we have created just now. Now we'll have to install certain Python dependencies, and also to access BigQuery and Google Cloud Storage, we'll have to install required Python client libraries, okay, into this virtual machine. To do that, the first one, we need to update all the basic apps. Okay, once apps are getting updated, now you will have to install all these Python dependencies one by one. It will just install. I have to install pandas also because we are trying to access BigQuery table and then we are trying to access those BigQuery results into pandas data frame, and then we'll try to print those results. Now required Python dependencies have been installed. Okay, now we'll have to install Google Cloud BigQuery and Cloud Storage client libraries. Okay, for that we would have to execute these commands. Okay, installing both BigQuery client libraries and as well Cloud Storage client libraries. Now this is also done. Okay, now we'll use two different Python programs to access BigQuery and as well Google Cloud Storage objects, right? In the first step, So this is the simple program we are trying to use here actually. So we are using this service account credential to access BigQuery. Okay, and we'll try to queries a BigQuery table and be into a pandas data frame, and we are trying to print the results. Okay, so as of now, if you see this service account, okay, doesn't have any IAM permissions granted. Okay, if you go to IAM, right, so you don't see any IAM permission granted to this service account. Okay, okay, and also just try to understand this program, right? So by using this Google Cloud service account which we have created and trying to access BigQuery, okay, this is an application, it is trying to access a BigQuery. Okay, that means this program not using any individual or group IAM roles and permission to access BigQuery or Google Cloud Storage. Instead, it is using service account. Okay, so now copy this program, go to your Compute Engine SSH page, and here just clear. So we'll create bqquery.py the script, paste this code. Have any issue with this code? Okay, now try to run this program. Now you can clearly see this does not have permission to create any BigQuery jobs because this we haven't given any IAM permission to this service account. Okay, now we will go and grant necessary IAM permissions to access this BigQuery table, right? So this is the table. Okay, if you try to see this data, go over here and come to the BigQuery, and now copy and paste. So as we are the owner of this project, we will be able to query this table without any issue. So this is the data we should see over there, right? Now go to IAM section or module. Okay, come to the IAM. Now click on grant permission. Okay, this is our service. Now just type BigQuery job user. This is one role, and add another role, BigQuery data viewer role. These are the two roles required by this service account to query your BigQuery table. Just save. Now we have given enough permission to access your BigQuery. So now try to run your script once again. Now you can see it is accessing that BigQuery table, and you can see the data is printed over here. Okay, so I hope this is clear now how the service account is trying to access BigQuery using granted IAM roles and permission, okay, instead of individual user and or group permissions. Okay, so next one, so we will try to access a Google Cloud Storage object using the similar program. Okay, so come to the Google Cloud Storage. Okay, here actually we have a bucket. Okay, and inside this bucket we have uploaded one object. Okay, we will try to access this object. Okay, right now our service account doesn't have any Google Cloud Storage related permissions to access that bucket and underlying objects. Okay, so we'll go to the program. So this is a similar program. Here actually we are using storage client libraries, and we are using Compute Engine credential to access Google Cloud Storage bucket and objects. Okay, and we are trying to access this particular object which is available in a Google Cloud Storage bucket. Okay, just copy this program into a file. Just clear vi, so gcs py. Okay, so just paste this, and now if you try to run this program, we'll see we are expecting error because our service account doesn't have that required permissions. You can see this error, same thing. So object get access, this permission is not there. Okay, this service account is missing that permission. Okay, now we'll go and grant that permission to the same service account. Okay, add another rule. So store, this is storage object user, that's it. It would, this would be viewer and user is okay. So it's okay, we'll save this. Now we'll run our program once again. We'll see if it should run fine now. Now you can see this data. Okay, so whatever the data we have in that file, this file, you can see the same data over here. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you. Now what we will do, so we have, so far we have granted all predefined roles to the service account, right? Now we'll talk about custom role. Now in this example, these two examples, right, so we have granted individual predefined roles to the service account, and we try to access BigQuery table and also cloud storage object, right? What we'll do, we'll create a custom role which would have the both the permission to access your BigQuery table and also your Google Cloud Storage object. Okay, and then we'll try to run these programs one by one. Okay, for that, first of all, let's go and remove these permissions first. Save. Now we have revoked all the roles which we have given to that service account. Now if you try to run this program, now you should get same errors. It will take some time to propagate those permissions. Okay, it will take some time, that's why you could not see that error. Now you can see it's unable to access BigQuery because we have revoked all the roles. Okay, in the similar way, we'll try to execute that Google Cloud Storage related script. Okay, now you should see the same error. It should not be able to access that even object. Okay, so now we'll go to the IAM and we'll create custom role. Okay, so here you can see these roles. Click on those roles. Okay, so create role. Okay, you can give some title and role ID is this is a role ID, so we'll give the same title. That's it. Now you'll have to add individual permissions. Okay, so you cannot create custom role out of predefined roles. Okay, you will have to always find individual permissions to design and create a custom role. Okay, here there are two ways you can create this custom role. Either you will search for the individual permissions or else you will search for the predefined roles. Okay, now we want BigQuery job user, BigQuery data viewer, and object viewer or object user permission roles. Okay, we would require these three roles to access BigQuery and also Google Cloud Storage bucket objects. Okay, so now search by roles. Okay, BigQuery job user. If you select this and click on OK, now you would see all the individual permissions which are available as part of this role. You will have to select all these permissions. Okay, and click on add. In the similar way, you need BigQuery data viewer. Okay, BigQuery data viewer role. Just select this and you would require all this permission. Just add it. Okay, in the similar way, you would also require GCS bucket object user or viewer. It's okay, I'm selecting viewer. Just okay. Okay, now you will have to select every permission. Just click on add. Okay, now we have added all the individual permissions to form this custom role. Now just create this custom role. So now you can see your custom role has been created. If you want to see the individual permission as part of this custom role, just click on that role. Now you would see all these individual permissions. Okay, so now we will go to the IAM and we will grant this role to our service account. Okay, now search for our custom role that we have created. This is our custom role. Just click on save. Now this service account has been granted with our custom role, which has the BigQuery able access and as well Google Cloud Storage bucket access. Okay, so now we'll go and run our scripts one by one so that it should run these scripts without any issue. Now it is able to access BigQuery with the custom role in the similar way, and the second script related to the Google Cloud Storage object, now we should be able to access even that object. Okay, now this is the other way where you can create custom role. Okay, so by grouping different permissions which are related to the BigQuery and also Google Cloud Storage object in our case. So like that, if you have any other specific requirement, you can create custom role and you can grant those custom role to the service account or individual user or groups. Okay, so I hope this is clear, and I would strongly recommend you to go to the documentation to understand about this service account and roles and permission in detail. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.